Hi everyone, JJ here. Welcome back. I'm back from vacation or holiday as we call it in the South Island of New Zealand. There's been a lot I've missed, but I have been keeping one eye on the news. But let's get straight into it. You can see here nearly a third of Elon Musk's EV-loving Dutch customers may sell their Teslas. There's been a debate in the Netherlands around Tesla shame, apparently. And in my part of the world, this is in New Zealand and Wellington, apparently. It wasn't me, although I have been traveling. I did not do this. I don't live in Wellington, and I wasn't there. F off fascist, I've blurted out there, but you get the gist. We tend to be pretty blunt here in this part of the world. So Elon Musk really causing waves here in this part of the world and in many others. Speaking of this part of the world, this is where I was holidaying. I'll show a few more pics at the end of this video for people who are at all interested in what I've been doing, where I've been. This is in the South Island, as I said, in the background there, that's Aoraki Mount Cook, and this is a sculpture, a stone sculpture my son did in about 5 minutes. And that's the mountain there, right there. But let's get back to it. So the UK survey finds 60% of car buyers turned off by Elon Musk. Now, surveys, people will say, can say whatever they really want to, can be engineered. But let's see if there's more evidence than this. Tesla sales are sliding in Europe, and it's a problem for Elon Musk. So these headlines not good for Tesla or Elon at the moment. And this too, gamers think Elon Musk is lying about his video game skills. Now, I've made videos about this before I went away on vacation, and he was totally busted for being fraudulent about his gameplay. Definitely. This is one of the videos. I didn't make this, but this is one of the original videos that busted him. Elon Musk is lying about being good at video games. Now, expert video gamers, they found this out. It's so easy for them to find out. And if you're an expert in something that Elon Musk says he is an expert in, and some people say this about software when they hear him talking about software, it's like, what is he talking about? He doesn't know the first thing, and that happened about video games. Is it like this for many other things? If you're not an expert, you're kind of fooled by him, but if you are an expert, you can see right through it. More and more people are seeming to see that, and the result here, people are selling their Teslas. My bubby would be proud that I stood for our values, sold Tesla. And this is, of course, after the salute that he did where I was away and I saw that. I didn't make a video about it. I said I was going to be offline for my holiday, for my vacation, and I mostly was. And this one too is another example. So this guy's a comedian, an Australian comedian. You might be familiar with his videos on YouTube, Aussie Man Reviews. They're pretty funny, but he decided to sell his Tesla based on that salute. He just had enough of Elon Musk, and he thinks that he did that salute on purpose. I seem to give him the benefit of the doubt, but to be not conscious of doing that in such a massive stage, it has annoyed a lot of Tesla owners and potential Tesla owners, obviously. This one, Tesla, I bought this before we knew Elon was crazy. Debate. You know, people have been putting stickers on their cars. This is one of the stickers. I made a video about this. It was quite a popular video for the stage of where the channel was at the time. There's a lot of interest in that. And there's some of the other stickers. Tesla, I know. I bought it before the Twitter stuff. So that's another story, the Twitter, the X stuff. And this one, constant recalls here. Tesla to recall 1.2 million cars in China on safety concerns. Now, this does look like a software update, so over the air, but this has been constant, and they've had actual physical recalls too. So less than optimum service, shall we say. People have been saying there's a lot of complaints about that. And we can see here, California Tesla sales down 7.8% for the fourth quarter, down 11.6% for the year. Overall, EV sales up 1.2%. So that's not for Tesla, that's overall EV sales are up. But Tesla coming down, so there's more competition. People not liking what Elon Musk has been up to. Well, a lot of people who bought Teslas, a lot of liberals, can we say. It remains to be seen whether conservatives will buy EVs. It seems like just from the conservatives that I've talked to, not keen on EVs still at all. So, you know, I don't know where the sales are going to come from. And sales have been going down. And there has been an earnings call. I didn't do a video about that. I was still on vacation at the time, but I did listen to it. What Elon Musk was saying. He obviously seems a bit desperate. You can tell by the grandiose claims that he's making, sort of more and more grand claims about the size of the company, what it's going to be like. I mean, what other CEO do you know who talks about the market cap of the company, what it's going to be? I mean, that's really talking about the stock price. Let's face it, that's what that is. He is, and he's been talking about that a lot. So is he getting a bit desperate here? And this is the stats that show that. And so the stock price has not been hurt. Even with the earnings call and the earnings update, which was terrible, they did not beat expectations. It was much lower than expectations, but the stock price went up for this. And Elon Musk says Tesla could be worth $30 trillion. It's under $1 trillion now. So this was back in June 2024. He's making even grander claims now, like on that call. I think he said something like that Tesla will be worth the next 5 companies put together, Apple and Microsoft and those companies. Really grand claims, and it's based on not the cars, because the car numbers are going down, the financials are going down, so it's all hinged on robots and also FSD, which he says will be working in Austin. I think he said that this year, but I bet you it'll be very limited. I bet you it'll be teleoperated. There'll be teleoperators. In order to not have a driver, it'll be in a geofence kind of zone, which is quite similar to Waymo, isn't it? I think when it comes out. And Jim Chanos here, famed short seller who was involved in uncovering Enron, he said about this after the earnings call, I know fundamentals don't matter anymore. Ain't that the truth with Tesla? But I still find it remarkable that the consensus 2025 estimate for adjusted EPS, $3.05, has completely round-tripped to where it was in 2019 before the stock went parabolic. And if you don't know, back in 2019, that is when the stock price took off, and some of the Tesla bulls, some of the Elon Jellicles from back then did buy it, and they have been fortunate enough, I'm not going to say lucky, fortunate enough to have the rise that it's had, and they withstood, many of them, this flatlining or going down for a long time. And Jim Chanos was questioning the stock price now, as he has all along, and he's got a lot of flack for that along the way. But as I said, the Elon Jellicles are like this. They don't want to hear anything. They don't want to see anything. They don't want to talk about the numbers. They want to talk about the future of robots, of FSD. So the cars suddenly don't matter anymore. But when they were growing, they did matter. When the growth was there, they did matter. And added to this is the Shiller-P ratio. If you don't know what that is, you can look it up. But I've showed this before. This is the stock market, the US stock market, and it is at 38.09, that ratio. It's only been more one time, and that was during the dot-com bubble. This is 2020, 2021, before that bear market. So it's back up there again. As we know, that AI has been responsible for that, really, the takeoff of that. There was quite a short bear market in the end. And we'll have to see what happens, but the US market is on this metric anyway. It's only one metric, but pretty expensive compared to other times in history. But the Elon Jellicles, the Tesla fans, don't care. This is another headline. You can own Elon Musk SpaceX, but at what price? So this is talking about an ETF now that you can actually own part of SpaceX, because it's not a public company. So there are ways that people are finding out, institutions are working out how retail investors can buy into SpaceX. But it says here the ETF that can trade all day is investing in an asset that really changes hands. Figuring out what it's worth is a guessing game at this point. Since the election, since Donald Trump was elected, and Elon Musk is the best buddy, the first buddy of the US, best and first buddy of the US, the stocks and the price of his companies have gone up, including SpaceX. So this is the share price, and it is private. Look at that. You can see that it has gone up almost parabolic as well when we go back to 2015. And that's sourced from the NASDAQ private market. Now, if you are getting value out of this episode so far, I'd really appreciate it if you remember to hit that like button to help the algorithm to spread it to more people. It really does help. Thanks. And this next, Elon Musk denied access to SpaceX's biggest government secrets over drugs and foreign contacts. So he's been questioned about his behavior even with SpaceX, but that hasn't hurt the valuation, hasn't hurt the Tesla stock price yet. But a lot of people are questioning buying Tesla, so the financials are starting to not look good with Tesla. They really aren't. So quarter after quarter, they've kind of been getting worse and worse, but a lot of investors just forget about that. So the company execs were reportedly worried that he wouldn't be able to get the highest level security clearance. But with Trump getting in there, it doesn't seem like that much of a problem. There have been reports of him even getting into the Treasury, having access to the Treasury. Now, it's another story. I can't cover all the news here. That's like another video. Now, Wall Street banks prepare to sell billions of dollars of X loans. This is recent news from January the 24th, just days ago. As I said, there's been a lot going on since I went on vacation with Donald Trump coming into office and really rushing through lots of executive orders with Elon Musk right there as well. But Wall Street banks preparing to sell billions of dollars worth of X loans. Of course, they loaned Elon Musk money to buy X, if you didn't know that, including JP Morgan. And we have here Jamie Dimon calls Elon Musk the Einstein of our time, said they reconciled and hugged it out. Wow, you could say that's a stretch. As I said, if you don't know about some of the areas that he's talking about, whether it be engineering, software, video gaming, then you think that what he says sounds good, but people who really are experts in those areas are saying that he doesn't often know what he's talking about. He's just a master of promotion, a master of spin. Elon Musk's Twitter takeover is now the worst buyout for banks since the financial crisis. This was back in 2024. I did cover this at the time. His wealth is on paper. A lot of it rides on that Tesla stock price and the SpaceX stock price and his other companies. So, it's not like he's got billions and billions and billions lying around in cash. We don't think so anyway, or they are loans. If he does, 13 billion have remained hung for nearly 2 years, bringing in interest payments, but weighing on banks' balance sheets. So they'll be wanting to get rid of it. And so it looks like they're selling. Wall Street selling. JP Morgan has been questioning the last earnings call. I saw that. They were surprised that the stock price went up after earnings. Now, this one recently as well, 24th of January again, in leaked email, Elon Musk admits defeat on Twitter. This is new. Our user growth is stagnant, revenues are unimpressive, and we're barely breaking even. And I saw one headline saying that X is breaking even, and that was good, but really he's saying that it's not going as he'd planned anyway. And Musk's X adds Nestle, Colgate, Shell, other brands to add boycott suit. So if you didn't know this either, he's suing the advertisers for not advertising. Basically told the advertisers to go F themselves. And, they should have the right to advertise wherever they want or not. And now he's suing them, told them to F off, and now he's suing them for not advertising. This is Elon Musk for you. And Elon Musk has taken aim at Reddit also after some of the site's moderators introduced a ban on links to X, formerly Twitter, to protest over his alleged salute during an event for President Trump's inauguration. It has to be said that this could be hypocritical because, as we know, say you put a YouTube link onto X, it will get buried in the algorithm. He does not like external links. So, maybe this is a bit of tit for tat here. And the next headline we have is Elon Musk appears on video at German far-right campaign. So this is another reason that a lot of people are not buying, it seems, Tesla products and services now. When I see a Tesla on the road, it makes me wonder what the driver inside is thinking, and that I just do not want a Tesla. There's some other EVs on my travels that I'm quite keen on. I'm going to be looking into that this year, but Tesla is not on my list. This is from January 2025, so just days ago again. And Elon Musk getting into this far-right politics, and he says it's not far-right. This party is moderate, but come on. And when you pair it with a salute and everything, it starts to look like he's supporting pretty far-right parties, and, he's right in there with MAGA. The election is so important. The future of civilization could hang on this election. That's what he said in the US. It's a good line for him. Vote for who I say you should vote for because civilization's on the line. And he's saying that again. It's looking very 1984, the way he's appearing in that video there in front of that crowd in Germany. And yes, paired with the salute, it's not a good look, and that's why some people, including that Australian comedian and other people, are selling the Teslas and giving the Tesla the finger on the way out. And here we have, with an executive order, Trump casts doubt on the future of EVs in California. So another thing not looking good for Tesla. Meanwhile, the stock price still goes nuts, still going up. With Trump on the warpath against EVs, buyers and sellers in California. Watch warily as he tries to dismantle Biden-era incentives that supported the industry. So this is in January 2024. All of this happening in the past few days. So as I said, I've missed a lot. I've only been away for 10 to 12 days. I've missed a lot. Catching up somewhat here, that Tesla earnings call and earnings update was pretty disappointing. So it was surprising to see the stock price. Or maybe not so surprising, because there are a lot of Elon-jellicals, as they call them. Some of my favorite words at the moment, Elon-jellicals, those people who just would believe what Elon's saying. And what he said on the earning call was just more and more grand, bigger and bigger, and people just ignore the numbers. It's like the worse the numbers get, the bigger he talks. And the other one is broligarchy, in there with Trump and all the bros there, the billionaire bros, not the oligarchy, the broligarchy. So expect me to be saying that more in the coming weeks, I think. Tesla should face 100% tariffs in Canada to counter Trump, minister. So this is the next story that's just come out. Tariffs been put on. It's Mexico, Canada, China. It's funny that the smallest tariffs were put on China. Did Elon have something to do with that? He's got business in China and doesn't want big tariffs? Or is it because so many goods come from China to the US that it would really hurt the US economy if tariffs were slapped on it? Just don't forget, that's not the other country that pays the tariffs. It's the people importing that pay the tariffs. So they do get passed on to the customer. And so there's a lot of Chinese products. Perhaps that's the reason that it's only 10%. 25% for Canada. To retaliate, Canada could slap 100% tariffs on Tesla in particular, really hurting one of Trump's good friends. More and more people not liking what Elon's doing, and it could really punish him personally and his company. Tariffs can be put on like that. Trump imposes steep tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China. But there's also this, that may be in the EV's favor. Pump prices set to rise as Trump tariffs hit Canadian and Mexican oil. But US has got a lot of oil. Tariffs are being put on EVs too. And as I said, it might be some quite big tariffs put on US EVs elsewhere. We'll have to see. That could really hurt EVs in general and Tesla, and this is some sort of exception, but I don't see why there would be. Canada's plan for a trade war, pain for red states and Trump allies. Canadian officials are preparing retaliatory measures if the new US administration imposes tariffs on Canadian imports. So retaliation, particularly aimed at the red states. So the blue states, they still want to trade with Canada without tariffs on either direction. This is Trump's thing to have tariffs. So we'll have to see how Canada deals with this. But this is what Elon might do to retaliate himself. Tesla sues EU after tariffs on electric vehicles from China. Decision marks latest confrontation between Elon Musk and Brussels. And so this was January the 27th. So Elon's suing because of the tariffs. Could he do that to Canada? Could he do that to Mexico? And likely he wouldn't do that if China retaliates, because he really is not critical about China at all. When he talks about free speech, not even critical of China on free speech at all. Don't you find that strange? Despite Elon Musk's close ties to Trump, Tesla CFO admits that the president's tariffs plan would impact business and profitability. So this was on the earnings call. CFO admitted that it would. Nobel Prize-winning economists worried second Trump term could reignite inflation. So this is the worry. Put tariffs on, it raises prices. It'd be interesting to see when the Fed comes out, Jerome Powell, if he blames Trump, if inflation starts to take off. There's always a lag for these things. It would be interesting if Jerome Powell says something. He's supposed to be apolitical, but really if Trump steps in and inflation takes off, he's got to say something, and Trump could back off from it. We'll have to see. And this is from the Wall Street Journal, who's not a left-wing rag at all, you'd have to say. This is an editorial from the Wall Street Journal. The dumbest trade war in history. Trump will impose 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico for no good reason. And I've seen Trump say this. He thinks that tariffs are good. He talks about in the past when the US has had tariffs way back, the country was the most wealthy, but we'll have to see. It's a different economic environment. Is it going to raise inflation? That's the big question, and the market is going to be looking at that. What will happen with these massive tariffs being put on? These are significant, and the retaliation. So different economies could be at risk because of what Trump's doing. And so that's where we're at now. And I was, as I said, I had one eye on this while we were swimming in the pool. It was hot there, even though there's mountains down there. We're down in the Southern Lakes region. If you know New Zealand at all, it's a beautiful part of the world. This is only for people who are interested in what I've been doing. Some maybe people who've been on the channel for quite a long time following what I'm doing. So it was hot here. This is the lavender farm we went to. Bit of a tourist area, but it was fun. That's my son and my wife's shoes there, wearing purple for the occasion. This is in Canterbury, also in the South Island. We're visiting family along the way, and a beautiful spot it was too, and beautiful weather we had. There's one of the dogs, and it's a letterbox, which is where I wanted to say, do leave me a message. I'm going to show some of your messages soon, people replying. I haven't done that much, bit of Q&A I did on the last video. So do comment, do post me an internet letter. I do comment and reply to as many as I can, but there's a lot these days, which is great. The channel's growing, so looking forward to the year ahead. And on screen now I'm going to put a link to a video that YouTube thinks that you should watch next. And thanks to everybody for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.